Welcome back to Nerds R Us, where anyone could be a kid. I'm Tyler, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ike Siemens.
What's Gucci Gangsters?
Did you guys realize I always say your last name, but I don't think I ever say my last name?
It's Foss. I said
Dude,
Foss
now,
for the people.
Now they're going to be after me.
Now you can stalk him
The
on
government.
social media, Pornhub, anything that he's starred in.
Yeah, anything that I've starred in, no big deal. Anyway, today we're talking about a sadly no longer living legend. The man who had brought so much enjoyment to our life, and as of today when we're recording this podcast, has unfortunately passed away. The king of nerds, Mr. Stanley. Ike, I know I was the person who broke this sad news to you. How did that feel?
Rip to the gods, dude. Ripperoni. I mean, that's... I honestly didn't believe it at first because I was like, nah, man. I was on really early this morning, like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning on Facebook and shit, trolling and doing my usual shit posts, and I didn't see jack shit. But apparently a little later comes to the light, and yeah, dude, that's mainstream right now.
Yeah,
that is what's in the spotlight.
Well, I mean, it deserves to be. I mean, I found out because I was sleeping and my mom called me, and I was like, ignore. I have time to fucking get some sleep. I'm tired of this shit. And she called the second time, like, right after, and I was like, oh shit, something's wrong. Somebody died.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I gotta answer this call. And sadly, someone did die. Luckily, it wasn't anybody, like, I'm related to or anything like that, like I thought it was, but goddamn, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going back to sleep now, because that was fucking depressing. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this. I mean, Stanley's been around for a long time. He's brought a lot of good characters to the forefront of comics. What's the character that he made that you were like, this is my guy?
Hulk.
Hulk's probably the least favorite of my characters that he's ever made.
Hulk and Wolverine. Now...
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hulk, all the X-Men, I mean.
Hulk being because, I mean, anger issues galore. I mean, welcome to my fucking life, right? Wolverine being
tenacious,
slightly pessimistic, but mostly realistic, miserable cunt of a human being. Also, welcome to my fucking life, right? Like, those are the characters that I grew up idolizing out of the MCU, and that's because, I was like, I relate a lot with these two. Like, this makes the most sense.
Yeah, well, I think the thing about him that, like, I think the one thing that DC was originally lacking that he really took to and brought the characters forth with is the fact that they had flaws, that they weren't like perfect heroes, that they had like inner struggles and shit like that. And interesting story, when he actually first was making comics, they would go in like the back as like special little shorts of like other comics, and when he pitched Spider-Man, they were like, no, like, you can't have a teenage superhero. Teenagers can only be sidekicks. This isn't gonna work. And then it was like a smash hit. And granted, this was like in the 1950s, so I'm sure politely he said like, told you so, but in mind he was thinking like, ha, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like he's and I don't know how he was way back in the day. I mean, that's years before I was even thought of, that's my parents' birth ages and stuff. So, I can't say for how he is or how he was back then. But I mean, first time I got to meet him, I'll tell you right now. First off, let's start with he had a more manly handshake than Lou fucking Ferrigno. All right, like went and fucking had to do the. I went and volunteered at the Comic-Cons and stuff, and I was bodyguarding for Lou Ferrigno and then Stan Lee, and just because they're like, yeah, you're big, you can handle this shit, so they threw me on with that shit, and dude, I gotta shake both their hands, no fucking comparison, dude. 90 years old, fucking
Because he had that sick Iron Man heart that was like ready to fucking throw it down. Oh, you don't think I could pump blood into this fucking hand to crush you?
Yeah, dude. I was like, well, fuck. Okay, like that's pretty goddamn impressive. Like,
I know, it was weird. Even when he was like that old, and I would see him like I saw him walking at time at Comic-Con. It wasn't like he didn't walk like a person who would be his age.
No.
He's just like, yeah, I'm just walking around Comic-Con.
Strolling right through, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, in a fucking hustle and bustle.
Keeping hella pace and shit.
Dude,
like,
he had not only time, but patience and enjoyment for all of his fans alike.
Dude, he was in that booth for like at least 7 hours straight.
Oh,
like,
dude. Signing, taking pictures and shit. And it was really, really, it was really cool to see somebody like that. With that kind of notoriety and that kind of fame, just be a down-to-earth ass motherfucker. Like he was real. He was as real as they got. You know what I mean? Of all the famous people that I've had the pleasure of meeting or displeasure of meeting in some situations, of all the famous people that I've met, you know, I really, dude, like mass respect points gained. Like,
well, it seemed like even in his like if his Marvel movie cameos or like anytime he made an appearance for something, it seemed like he never like lost his passion about like, you know, making comics and enjoying them and stuff. Or no matter how long he did it, no matter how much money he made, he was still like, yeah, this is like what I love. This is like my fucking jam. And other people who love that are like my people. And so, fuck yeah, I'll sign your shit. And like, fuck yeah, I'll take a picture. I don't think they were even charging to like meet him. They were like, no, I'm just here. I just like being here.
Yeah, dude, I was just genuinely impressed by him as a person.
What was your favorite cameo of his in a Marvel movie?
Favorite cameo, huh?
It's hard, I know. They're all good.
God, I would say...
I really liked the one in Ant-Man and Wasp that just happened, where he's like going to like get in his car, and they have like the shrunken car underneath his car, and he goes to put the key in, and they like make it normal size again, and it like flips his car. That was pretty good. Or I also liked the one he just did in Venom, where he's like, "You go get him, you get him, you get that girl." I was like, "Yeah."
True. I would say probably the original Avengers. Just how he was walking down the New York street or whatever. It just, and this is comical to me, but it reminded me of the cabbage cart guy in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not my cabbages. You know, he had a very...
He was weirdly like he could like he's like weirdly good at doing comedy.
Yeah. Like
it's not even just like he's like in the movie. You're like, oh, that's cool that he was in the movie. It's like always the line that he delivers is like pretty goddamn funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in Guardians of the Galaxy when he's like hella creeping on that like hot alien chick, and then like Rocket like hits him with the I want to say telescope, but with the binoculars.
I don't remember this.
Oh, it's like right at the beginning, like right where like Raccoon and Groot meet. It's before they meet Drax. It's where they meet Gamora for the first time, and
Oh yeah.
Star-Lord.
On that planet.
Yeah, on the planet, and they're like scoping it out, like trying to find people to like steal money from and shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that one. That one's a good one.
You know, I mean, I wonder how many they have in the bank of him, because I know they filmed like a ton in advance, because I saw this really sad thing, like a meme before he died, that was like, you know, they filmed all of his like 4 cameos for 4 movies in one day just to make sure that he was going to be able to be in all those movies.
Yeah, after his last heart scare.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's like a really depressing thought to think about, and now it's like a reality.
Well, dude, a couple episodes ago we fucking had just mentioned how, you know, fingers crossed he wouldn't have to fucking, you know, he wouldn't have to have too many in the bank, because he'd be kicking for a little while longer, and shit, look where we are a couple episodes later. I mean, fuck, dude.
We jinxed it, man. We're fucking assholes.
Sorry, people.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, people of the world.
But I mean, he's still, it's not like he'd like, It's gonna sound awful to say, but it's not unexpected.
No,
I mean, he
no.
was
God, dude,
95.
6, fuck.
I fucking looked it up, dude. He was born in 1922. That means he lived through World War II, Vietnam, Korea, Iraq, every single war pretty much that we ever had since the fucking 19th century. I mean, dude, it's been around for a long time. Freaking, he was in the military for a while and fucking did like cartoons and slogans and training videos like while in the military. I mean, he's been around for so long because all the characters from Marvel that are staples are pretty much all characters he worked on. The Avengers, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Hulk, Ant-Man, Wasp. You fucking name it. I mean, he brought Hercules to Marvel. He brought Ares to Marvel. He brought like every character. Fucking him and Steve Ditko and fucking Jack Kirby. Like, say what you want about a lot of Marvel characters being very similar or rip-offs to DC characters, but they definitely made them at least like their powers were usually similar, but they were very original, like personality-wise.
Yeah.
When it came to
I think they had more character development for sure. And that was always my thing is, DC versus Marvel. I'm definitely more of a DC comic fan personally because of that exact reason. I mean, going through, comic books as a kid and stuff, I was like, they have their original characters though. But at the same time, like, I got more out of new fresh characters from DC in my opinion, whereas Marvel, come to find out that there's a good amount of them that are kind of rip-offs and knockoffs and this, that, and the other thing. Now with that being said, like I said, you have their OG original, nobody touches that. I mean, fucking the Hulk, dude. Solomon Grundy, I mean, that's,
yeah,
you're pushing it on that, but at the same time, I mean, realistically, the Hulk was vastly different in the sense of it wasn't a magical being. It was science related, and then also his character had an alter ego who was a fucking brilliant scientist and shit. And Solomon Grundy coming up is magical reincarnation, like a physical presentation of anger and hatred for not finishing out his life's dreams and wishes and stuff, so even that one, I will still credit that to Marvel being an original character. I mean, minus size and look to some degree on the original
but you can say that
print.
about any big character in any comic. That's the thing. Like, super strength has been a thing that's been around forever, and it will always be around. And there's only so much layering you can do to super strength.
Yeah.
Which is why you have to do the layering to the character and not the power. That's the thing about it. That's what makes the difference. I would say that's what makes the difference for all Marvel characters, or especially all X-Men, dude. I mean, the way he captured like prejudice, especially at the time that X-Men came out, that was still a big fucking issue. He really captured it, and he captured it in a way where it was like, because the mutants all came from different backgrounds, they were like, there were white mutants and Mexican mutants and fucking black mutants and Asian mutants, rich, poor, fucking boy,
parental
girl.
Influence.
There was a lot that went into it, but it was kind of like all these people are being prejudiced against because they're different. That's like not okay. Like, this fucking sucks. And then, if anything, like, I mean, he totally created a Malcolm X and fucking Martin Luther King. I mean, fucking Professor X was the Martin Luther King, where he's like, no, we're not. We could fuck their day up.
We could take this by force, but we're not. That doesn't make us any better.
We
than
need to
them
live in like harmony.
Yeah.
And then Magneto was totally like, at least from my perspective, the Malcolm X, where he was like, no, like, I want equal rights, but also like, fuck these guys. Like, feel free to go ahead and step to me, motherfucker. Like, prepare to have all the iron in your body shot through your asshole. Like, and that type of thing, like, if you really look back on it, I mean, there's been a ton of social things that they've really, due to his influence, and especially I would think due to like the precedent that X-Men set, they do a really good job of taking into effect like current events into their stories, which I think is really nice.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, it was definitely more relatable through more years than most other situational, comics and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something else.
A lot of layers to it, dude, and it was told in a way that was both graspable to like children, but was also able to look at it as an adult and
Real
be like,
content,
oh, I see what you're getting at there. Good on you. And it's weird because you would think almost like from the generation he's from, when he was born like 40 years before black people ever got their rights, and he was like still was like of not that mindset of like, no, these guys are not equal to me. He's like, no, everybody's equal and this is bullshit. I'm gonna convey my emotions about it through my medium, which is comic books. And it's like, yes, like that's not only is he creating something that's entertaining, but he's creating something that's good for other people and beneficial to other people.
Yeah, it's profitable.
Yeah, other people need to do that
all the way around.
Yep, more people need to do that. Logan Paul. Maybe, I don't know, not be a bitch. But like the point is, do you think anybody will ever come around again that will have as big of an impact on that world than he did?
Sadly, no. I mean, realistically, like if we're going on real ass terms here, let's look at the comic industry now versus what it was. You know what I mean? Like it's vastly different. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that it's not going to even get close or anything like that, but with the mediums available to us now, whereas
it's harder to sell comics. Is that the point you're trying to make?
It's not just physical paperback issues anymore. You have all this online media. You have all these different sources and ways to portray
movies and TV shows and stuff.
Exactly. I mean, it's so vastly different from where it started, where the entertainment has become a part of everyday life, whereas it used to be an escape for a little bit here and there and this, that, and the other thing, No. Now it's...
You used to have to go to the store to get Daredevil. Now you can stream him to your TV.
Yeah. Now it's just at your fingertips, with a couple clicks. With that being said, I feel like it's not as appreciated in its value. The convenience of technology has stripped away some of the physical, historic notoriety and value from a lot of things, comics especially being one of them. I mean, look at go even one step further, or sidetrack off onto CDs, music industry. I mean, you don't buy records, you don't buy CDs, you don't buy anything. You can stream all of that for free, steal it for free, or if you want to pay a little bit, Spotify, fucking this, that, and the other thing. I mean, you have all these companies that do mass ordering, mass purchasing and stuff. So the profitability of those, I mean, where people made their money back in the day on that is still, it doesn't even fucking touch what it is today. And it's way harder for people to get their money out of, their talent nowadays compared to back in the day. You know what I mean? So realistically, as deep of an effect or as widespread of a touch as he left, I don't see it. I don't see it. The sentimentality of it is no longer there. We've all just become so disconnected and vastly, withdrawn from the real world anymore, that it's just not something that I see as feasible for upcoming situations.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I find myself, and I've been reading comics for a long time, but even now I'm finding myself, like, when I drive past a comic book store, or I walk by a comic book store or something like that, I'm like, oh, there's comics in there, and I acknowledge that they're there, but I find myself not needing to go in. And also, I mean, I guess this could be said about anything, but I feel like there's so much coming out now that I can't keep up. You know, it's constantly, I was like, oh, there's a reboot, I'll catch up on this reboot, and then it's like, as I'm catching up on that reboot, there's another reboot, and it's like, I was like, I can't like keep up anymore. There's too much coming out.
New 52, shit, dude. I started collecting New 52,
and then boom, they were like DC Rebirth, and I was like, oh,
fuck, man,
cool,
like,
thanks.
Yeah, like halfway through the series, it felt like, and it was boom.
They cut a lot of series that I really liked, which I was super bummed about.
Dude, fucking hectic. I mean, and that's what they have to do to keep entertainment, to keep the attention long enough is goddamn near impossible, it seems like. I mean, look at technology today. Everything we own is bigger and better. Within 6 to 8 months, there's a new, bigger, better version within 6 to 8 months. Now, that's all well and good, and it creates job market, potential for more people, to throw in their ideas here and there. But at the same time, that does not make for consistency. That makes it very difficult for growth for certain companies. I mean, you don't have the expansion and growth in very many companies that you used to, because, well, there's a million other fucking people that can do it too. You know what I mean? And they're going to do it slightly different or slightly better or slightly more preferred towards one customer or another. Too many options, it seems like, anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely a sad day indeed. I don't know. I'm very interested to see how we're going to recover, because there will one day, and it might actually be after the point that, like, we're not alive anymore, but there will be one day when Marvel characters, they're going to run out of what's in the bank. At least for movies, they're going to run out of what's in the bank, and they're going to have to start making new characters. And so it'd be interesting to see if they're still able to recapture that magic that was captured with all those original characters from that original, Marvel team. The Fantastic Four, fucking Man-Thing, Abomination, the Avengers, one of like the most fucking well-known team-ups of all time. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to be able to keep that mantle or keep that magic going without standing on the shoulders of all of Stan Lee's work that he did on those characters. And so all I'm saying is I hope they have,
I hope they pull out a Disney.
Yeah.
I hope they pull out a Disney.
Yeah. I don't know. I just hope they have like a TV in hell so I can like watch them as they come out and see if they're any good.
Right.
Yeah, because then I won't be, at least I won't be the only one getting judgment passed on them.
Keep my eyes on you from down here.
Keep my eyes on you, motherfucker. Get ready, Marvel. Get ready to fucking step it up or fucking fall down.
Feel the heat.
Yeah.
Feel the fucking heat.
Anyway, well, I think that's probably enough crying and sobbing for today about the sad loss. But, if you're interested in checking out our other episodes, reach out to us at nerdsrs.com. That's NRDSRUS.com. Download them and listen at your convenience. Or you can find us on YouTube at nerdsrs. That's NRDSRUS. Also, if you want to support us, we're on Patreon, and for just $2 a month, you get a sweet monthly shout out from us on this podcast, and we'll try and pronounce your name as correct as possible. Or if we can make a play of words on it, that will probably be the most likely thing that will happen. But in the meantime, guys, try and read some.
Excelsior.
Yeah, Excelsior. Try and read some comics, and thanks for listening.